conservatives, like, good content. It's basically the same stuff that I do.
In April of 2023, a VTuber named Surus made a video about Eric July. Video was titled, YoungRippa Anti-Trans Freak Out Over Spider-Verse Trailer. Surus is a man who uses a catgirl VTuber model. Eric...
Okay. What? Who is...
Hold on, retard break. I need a retard break. Give me a retard break for like 2 fucking minutes, okay? I can't keep listening to fucking retards.
Oh my god.
Eric July responded to Surus with a video titled, Who Are These Degenerates? It was hilarious watching Eric roast and dismantle this weirdo. The craziest thing Surus said is that most kids find out they are trans from 4 to 6 years old. I asked Surus for confirmation, and he doubled down like it's no big deal. He honestly believes kids find out they are trans at 4 to 6 years old.
Yeah, some of them do.
I mean...
Some of them do.
So I'm obviously not trans myself, so I can't... share any personal experience on this, but I've talked to a lot of trans people and they've told me that, yeah, they kind of felt like something was different about them when they were younger, whether it was something as simple as they were born as a guy and they started having more interest in like, maybe girls' toys or girls' clothing or, stuff like that. Like, this is a common thing I've heard from a lot of trans people is that, yeah, a lot of times they realize that they don't know quite what's different about themselves, but something is different about themselves and they realize it at a young age. This is actually a pretty common thing that I've heard from a lot of trans people, actually. Yeah.
Crazy. Xanderhall believes in the same insanity and has to defend...
Yeah, exactly. As Trans Girl Jade said in the chat, this is something that me and her have discussed as well. They say, I knew I wanted to be trans at 8 years old.
That's something that I've heard from Blair White. I've heard
YoungRippa
from
made a video on Surus saying, Who Are These Degenerates? Is the name of the video.
Oh, God.
So I am really, really excited to see what YoungRippa has to say about my friend, because I'm willing to rip into him a little bit.
Oh my God.
Apparently my mild take of saying child mutilation is bad has kicked this sort of nest of a bunch of...
Oh my God. Every single one of these conservative types, they always do the child mutilation bit.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's just a dishonest representation of like so many people that are, in favor of trans rights. It's a dishonest representation of what they actually believe when it comes to children and transitioning. Now, I've been very open with like my feelings on this. Essentially, like I've said, I'm in favor of like gender affirming care for minors. Now, like a lot of them, they'll make the argument that whenever you say that, oh, so you're in favor of like genital mutilation for kids. And it's quite frankly, I think it's really weird that the first thing they go to when they hear gender affirming care for kids is thinking about kids' genitals. I don't know, personally, that's kind of a red flag for me that that's the first thing they go to.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just my thoughts. But anyway, like a lot of times that's like the first thing they go to. And like my stance on it is like, I'm in favor of like gender affirming care for children under the, close supervision of their parent or guardian and a medical professional. And when I say that, the things I'm talking about is, the use of, social transition at like much younger ages. Once you start hitting the age when you're about to hit puberty, the use of puberty blockers and things along those lines. And later on, once you hit usually about the age of medical consent, which is usually about 16 years old, if the gender dysphoria continues, then you can progress to using hormones and stuff like that. I'm not advocating for children having their quote genitals mutilated or anything like that. Okay, these are not the kind of things that I am in favor of, but these are the kind of things that conservatives will misrepresent our beliefs to be that to try and make us look evil, right? Or to try and make us look like we're trying to harm children. And watching a stream of
watching a video.
I gotta be honest, I've talked to a lot of trans advocates over the course of the past year or so, and I don't ever hear any of them advocating for like bottom surgery for minors. Like I can't say I've ever heard anyone advocate for that, but that's when conservatives talk about this, that's not what they're going to tell you though. They're going to tell you that they absolutely do advocate for that. And it's just not the case. But anyway.
All right. So we're already starting off good. That's nice. So, and I'm going to say what probably happened is YoungRippa 59 said that kids being trans and having access to any form of gender affirming care is genital mutilating children.
Stop, Xanderhall. There is no such thing. Kids want to be dinosaurs, but adults don't entertain it because it's
Oh
simply
my
kids being
God.
kids. They don't know what is best for
Won't find
them.
any better. Now, what can I help you with?
Chat, you know, I always think it's funny. When conservatives will
See you
refer to
later.
progressives as like NPCs, because
But they say
they
the same shit
literally
over and over and
operate
over
on
again.
the same fucking dialogue tree. Like they literally do.
Well, best
Like they
deals and all-
all use the exact same talking points. I can't begin to tell you how many times I've used a conservative, use the talking point of, well, kids want to be dinosaurs and we don't entertain the idea of them being dinosaurs. Like we don't entertain the idea of them like having like reptilian skin like grafted to their bodies or like claws and stuff like it's like
Right, because a girl is something
it's-
you actually
it's
can
really
be,
funny
not
to
a
hear
fucking
them
dinosaur.
refer to progressives as NPCs when they literally parody
Best
each
deals
other's
in all of
talking
Stormwind,
points.
my friend.
And it's the
Won't
parents'
find
They
any
don't
better.
have
Now,
any
what can I help
original
you
thought
with?
whatsoever.
Ability to
Just
protect
browsing
them
my
until
wares, or
kids
is
are
there
old enough
something
to make their own
specific I can help you
decisions.
find today?
The reason why they call it that is to make basic medical procedures sound scary. If you describe the removal of an appendix in the same way, it'll sound just as scary. If you describe the removal of hell, there are literally people who get gender affirming care and other forms of care like this that aren't trans. There are tons of cis women who get breast reduction surgery or, breast enlargement surgery so that their
True.
gender can be affirmed, or however they want to look can be affirmed. And yet you don't see anybody freaking out over this because it's only about the trans people. They just want to take rights from trans people. That's all that motivates these types. And money.
Are you seriously
and
comparing
money.
those types of surgeries with a child undergoing unnecessary permanent changes?
Gay furries and whatnot.
Again, you're like boxing with shadows, my guy. Nobody's advocating for children getting bottom surgery.
And they have doing a bunch of videos and they have some interesting things to say. So there's one guy, Rip vs. Gold Post did a post about guy. I don't know what this person identifies as. It's not actually important to me, but they had some interesting things to say about myself. So what we're gonna do is go through some of these videos and see.
Okay, chat. Okay, I seriously want to know what you guys think on this because again, like these conservative types, they think that you guys are 100% in favor of kids getting their I'm using their words, not mine, genitals mutilated. Okay, I want to poll in the chat. One in the chat if you guys are in favor of that when you're referring to gender affirming care for minors. I'll continue watching the video while I wait for your guys' responses.
See
Well, the answer is going to
what
be
it
no.
is
We're
that
not
they're
in
gonna
favor
say.
of that.
I invited YoungRippa to debate me once because I made a video on him, and I was like, I would love to debate YoungRippa on the discussion of, I believe it was actually over-policing and racial discrimination by police and the criminal justice system. I offered to do a debate with him on stream, and he never, it was a very public, you made a video response to me calling you out, all right, let's debate, come on stream. Never responded.
It would be nice to see Eric mop the floor with you in a debate. Eric probably sensed some clout chasing vibes from Xanderhall and decided not to give him any
Dan
more attention.
already has a
Look, man,
fucking
you're
audience.
creative in
right?
mind.
Wait, so okay, again, earlier we literally heard you say that Eric July could destroy Xanderhall in a debate. And again, you're showing that Xanderhall said he invited him on for a debate and he didn't even respond. Like, you think that this is a dunk, but it's not. You're literally making Eric July look bad, like he's running away like a little bitch away from a debate with Xanderhall. You just gave Xanderhall a fucking W, you dumbass!
As many of you know, I am retarded.
We've talked about this. I believe in gender affirming care for children, but I don't think that getting bottom surgery before the age of 18 is a good idea. Yeah, that's essentially my stance as well, pretty much.
Space, you're gonna have folks that are gonna say things about you negatively. I say, why let them do it for free? We might as well make some money off of these degenerates.
In a debate could possibly change his mind.
Juniper System says surgery isn't mutilation. Exactly. When I said that I was saying that, I was using their words, not my own, because I don't see surgery as mutilation either. If somebody who is an adult decides to get gender affirming care in the form of bottom surgery or top surgery, I'm totally in favor of that. And I don't see it as mutilation either. That's just the argument that they like to use to try and demonize gender affirming care for minors. And keep in mind, they're trying to demonize gender affirming care in the form of bottom surgery that nobody is advocating for. Nobody is advocating for children getting bottom surgery. That's just not the case.
And I think he's very set in his ways and his beliefs, or he's a massive grifter. And I do lean more on the massive grifter side of things because I've seen his takes get more and more radical. Back in the day, his takes on like trans people were, I don't really care what you do as long as it's not in my face, right? Like a very standard, basic take, right? And
Yeah,
then,
but that take
nowadays, you
changes.
see him arguing.
Scotty, I think that's how you pronounce that, says a woman who decides to get a nose job, by their logic, is nasal mutilation. Yeah, exactly. Or somebody who just decides to get like a boob job is like, you know,
It's
breast
chest mutilation.
or like some
Oh.
shit like that. Maybe they would consider breast reduction breast mutilation in their eyes. You know, that's the way these kind of people think. They don't consider the fact that somebody who's getting a breast reduction is probably getting it because they have like back pain issues or something like that, along those lines, which is a common thing for people getting like breast reduction, for example. But yeah, by that same logic, like any kind of cosmetic surgery would be considered mutilation, which is not the case.
Overtly mask off the more radical far-right, like anti-trans position that's become more acceptable and more marketable at this age. So yeah, I think the degenerate thing is just meant to appeal to Nazis. I think.
Yeah, that's actually a good point too. Heavy Gretel in the chat says not all trans people even necessarily want that surgery. Not that it's anybody's business. Yeah, it's very. I used to remember off the top of my head what the percentage was. I'm sure somebody in the chat will be able to mention it. But there's actually a very, very small. First of all, the trans community is a very small percentage of the overall population anyway. Something like less than 2% of the global population is trans to begin with. But an even smaller fraction of that little fraction are people that even want bottom surgery or have even considered getting bottom
Dude, there's
surgery or
plenty-
had bottom surgery. Like, so
Like, there's plenty of trans people who just don't care. They just go, oh, I'm okay with how HRT has affected my top, and I don't really care about getting rid of my bottom. Like, that's just a thing that happens sometimes.
Anyway.
I think a lot of this is like Nazis watch this guy and they're like, ah, he's all right.
Man, this guy is crazy. I can't tell if it's hyperbole or if Xanderhal truly believes his own words. This statement was so stupid that I don't have a response. He says things that make no sense.
Then don't say things?
Definitely a token. You know, definitely. Maybe you don't know the definition of token, but
Well, I've defined it very thoroughly, you dumb son of a bitch. You can go watch my video. It's actually titled, I believe, Tokenism and Tokenization Explained. Now, I don't care how a degenerate uses the term. That's actually not important to it at all. If you want to understand what it is.
Dude, he's so fucking mean and mad. He's mad. He's mean because he's mad. Jesus. I've noticed that his channel's got a lot less views than it did last time.
Cinder, why?
Like back in 2020.
Why?
That seems to be the case for a lot of these like quartering clone channels.
Cinder, why? Just dropping a fucking woo in the middle of this. Why war crimes? We're just trying to vibe and play WoW and do a video. You're just sitting here like, hey guys, what if I just dropped an woo? What if I did that? And then Liz Chris comes in with an ada, which is like, you know, the correct way to go. And then we get an oh from Sarah Chikorita. Again, like people who are on the right side of history, and then there's Cinder over here being a jerk off. Jesus Christ.
But people just aren't interested in like consuming content from, you know, other people trying to get into that space because it's just so bloated. There's so many people who literally engage in that kind of grift just to make a quick buck or whatever. But yeah, so many of these channels, their views have just like dropped significantly. Now, granted, my views have dropped too, so maybe some people will say it's not my place to talk on that. But hey, you know what? It is what it is.
Or 2021, I think it was. Last time I responded to one of his videos, he was pulling like regularly hundreds of thousands of views per video, like without fail. Now he's pulling like a few tens of thousands of views per video. So YoungRippa is falling off. Like even though his politics are more popular than ever right now within the online sphere.
Jess, I'll thank you
his
for the hydrate.
has been going for so long and it's gotten so old that it's just not really, like, he's just kind of falling off.
Xanderhal is counting Eric's YouTube views, but says nothing about the success of RippaVerse. Interesting.
Willy-nilly, so you're free to go watch that.
okay, sure. Why not?
That's not what this is about. Now,
You said that my favorite YouTuber is losing views, but the RippaVerse, though. Isn't the RippaVerse just like the name of like his fandom or something like that?
No, RippaVerse is his comics.
So is the point that his fandom exists, therefore success?
RippaVerse is his comics.
I don't get it.
Protect trans kids. That's what it says. Protect trans kids. That's fine. What's the problem with a flag that says protect trans kids?
I mean, if anything, conservative...
Sirs, wait, hold up, Tipster. Do you do call-ins? I could have you call in if you want. One of the mods, do the Discord, the Discord command. And
Liz Chris,
yeah,
able to
just
do
hop in
community subs.
the. There should be a channel called On Air Q, and I could bring you on. Sure. Just let me know in chat when you're in there, and I'll pull you in.
Oh
Should
God,
be- should
hold
agree
on.
with that, right? Don't they think that like trans people
Fatigue is bad.
are like grooming kids and like
Fatigue
all
is
trans
bad.
kids are grooming victims? Don't you like? Do you think that sentiment would be something they'd agree with? Protect trans kids. It's almost like the phrase "protect trans kids" means protect them from the right, trying to take their like rights away.
What? That's crazy. Take their rights away? Xanderhall is saying that a 5-year-old has the right to gender reassignment surgery, and the 5-year-old child.
No, that's not what Xanderhall is saying at all. What the fuck? Xanderhall. See, this is what I mean. They're like shadowboxing arguments that don't exist. Xanderhall is not advocating for children. Like the example that they would likely use is like a 5-year-old or a 6-year-old getting gender reassignment surgery. Okay, when people say gender affirming care, they're not only talking about surgeries. Anyway, I see that my mod is telling me that Surus is in the voice chat. Let me go ahead and bring them in. Hello there. Here we go.
Let me go ahead and mute you over on the stream. That way I'm not getting the double feedback, so we don't have a stream within a call.
For sure, for sure. I think this is the first time we've ever had a chat. How you doing?
I think so, outside of like group chats that we're both in. I think this is the first like one-on-one.
For sure, for sure. So you wanted to call in? Is there something you wanted to like add to this?
So a couple of things here, a little bit of context. So this video, I just found it was like what, 3 hours old, something like that. This incident is 3 or 4 months old.
Okay.
So this person, this Rippaverse goalpost person, he has held on to this incident that happened between me and Ripa, and then was piggybacked on by Zan. He's held on to this for months.
Yeah.
Well,
it seems like their whole point, if I remember, let me see if I could find Cherry's tweet. But there was like a handful of like videos that Zan has done on Eric July, and so it seems like the point of this video is it's 5 videos. They said 5 videos in the tweet. So it seems like their goal with this video is to try and basically shit on Xanderhall for all of these videos, and it just so happens that one of them also happened to involve you. So
it's just it's weird to me how this individual, like, first of all, this is an individual who will make fun of people for using avatars, but also hides behind a cringy AI-generated voice and doesn't actually add anything to their commentary. Like, with the points that they've made on Xanderhall, it's mostly been, oh, this one is so stupid, I don't even have to say anything. Which, if you think about it, that's the type of thing that you do only when you have an audience of yes-men who are already agreeing with everything you are saying. So you don't have to articulate a point. It means you've cultivated an audience of people who just agree with the shit you say, while also accusing other people of being NPCs.
Yeah, it's you have very well established a bit of an echo chamber with your audience, where like they all just like think the same way. So there's no need to like make any counter arguments because they already agree with you anyway.
Yeah, there was another bit of context I wanted to throw in for this. You mentioned his Rippaverse stuff. So that's not just the name of his fandom. Ripa also fancies himself a comic books creator and distributor. Are you familiar with some of the history that happened with Comicsgate?
I've heard of it, obviously, like a little bit, and I know like he put out his comics, or comic rather. I briefly referenced that like earlier in the stream, but I don't know like the full like lore behind it or anything like that.
So I'm not really an expert in all of the lore on it either. It's just, in my brain, it's basically just yes, Gamergate's younger, more stupid cousin. Basically.
Gotcha. Yeah, and that's kind of the vibe I got from it. It was literally just the comic version of Gamergate.
Yeah, whereas Anita Sarkeesian and Brianna Wu and Zoe Quinn were like the central quote problems where Gamergate was concerned at the beginning. With Comicsgate, it was mostly them going, DC Comics and Marvel Comics have gone woke. That's bad. Also, they've never read any of the 70s and 80s DC and Marvel comics where, I don't know, the X-Men were literally the civil rights movement of the comic book with superpowers. Like, they just kind of ignored the actual history of comics. But I think the point the Rippaverse goalpost dipshit is trying to make there is, well, Xander Hall didn't say anything about the Rippaverse, which is super successful. And it's actually true that YoungRippa's comic book has actually made a decent bit of money. I think it's made a few $1 million now, but that's a few million from a company that also has a handful of employees as well. So I don't know what a few $1 million in profit actually translates to for them. I'm uncertain.
Yeah, but also like I one of the things that I kind of pointed out is a lot of the people who bought the comic, like they just bought it because it was another anti-woke product that was being marketed towards anti-woke people. So
yeah,
I feel like that like also accounts for like most of the sales. So that doesn't necessarily mean like it's a good comic. It's just like people bought it just because another anti-woke product was being shilled at them by grifters.
Yeah, and it's at that point it's mostly a product that is coming out solely for the purpose of basically spitting in the eye of what they perceive the comics industry to be, whether or not those grievances are even whether or not there's any merit to them at all.
Right.
But I don't know how many of those are like legitimate comic buys or how many of those are done for the purpose of like owning the libs. I don't know what those numbers translate to, so I don't tend to lean into using those as points. There could be a lot of people who are just like, aha, I bought this comic book, I owned the libs. But I don't know how many people did that.
Right. Yeah, and that's fair. That's a fair point to make for sure.
But
okay.
I know. So there's one other fun bit of information in this one. If memory serves, I did a video response to this video of Rippa's as well, the one that Zan's responding to, and I tried to find his video defining what a token is, and even in the video where he defines what a token is, he makes a lot of very, 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 very vague descriptions of what he considers a token in a comic book, so much so that just putting in anybody of a race that is not white can make them a token. This is off of memory mine, so if there's different information in that video that I'm not remembering off the back of my head, do apologize for the misinfo there. But I remember the definition being very, very flimsy to the point where it almost feels like when somebody goes, just go watch this other video for the definition of this. Oh, by the way, there's barely a definition in it. You just kind of create a circle where the fans are nodding along going, ah, yeah, no, we definitely know what that means. We know what you mean, sir. Yes, yes.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Interesting. Maybe I'll have to take a look at that video sometime then, just out of pure curiosity, just to see what he said or whatever.
It would probably be a good idea because it's just it's either that it's a very, very vague, or he's got a handful of videos where in most of them he just goes, go watch my token video, even though it's the video named token, and eventually you're just like, bro, you've got more videos referencing that video than you do videos explaining what you think a token is. Maybe at some point you need to get better at communicating information. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that's a good idea for sure. Yeah. Oh my god, that's too funny.
But anyway, I just wanted to hop in to give 2 cents on that because this is a thing I was involved in. So.
No problem. You want to plug anything while you're here?
I'm in the middle of a subathon right now. I'm actually on day 6 at the moment.
Ooh, nice.
Longest one's been 23 days. I'm hoping this one doesn't go quite that long, but I am doing that at the moment.
Okay. Well, then if my chat will remind me, maybe we'll go ahead and we'll raid into you afterwards.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
All right. Take it easy. You have a good one.
All right. Have fun getting your brain melted by an AI
my
voice.
brain is thoroughly melted at this point. Okay. We're beyond melted at this point. But yeah, thanks for calling in, and maybe we can do something together again in the future.
Sure, maybe an actual like dedicated collab response video.
Yeah, it'll be fun. All right, take care.
See you. All right, let's unmute.
Yeah, it'll be fun. All right, take care.
Yeah, cool. Unmute there.
All right, and I also noticed, where are they? The creator of this video, Rippaverse Goalposts. I noticed they were in the chat too. How's it going?
Oh my!
Good to see you.
They are.
You know, I know you use your little AI chatbot voice or whatever, but you know, if you want to call in and use your real voice to kind of share your thoughts, on this. I'm happy to have you on too and hear your side of things as well.
That could
you
be
know?
interesting.
But anyway, let's continue. And again, shout out to Surus. Round of applause for them for calling in and kind of providing a little bit of the backstory there.
Thanks for the biddies, you heckin' simpy.
Thank you.
_thinking_saber_catcheerdex25.
Thank you.
Tips to live
Twitch field trip to see.
Eric is so dumb he didn't even check the copyright on his
Apparently.
comic's name.
I heard about this. Apparently, like he's involved in like a copyright or trademark dispute of some sort.
Wait, what?
over
Really?
the name of his comic. Oh my god. All right.
Oh
let's
shit!
continue.
I didn't
Child
even realize
understands their
that.
body better than their adult parents.
You know what's really funny? The right's reaction to the protect trans kids thing reminds me a lot of the it's okay to be white thing. So the right came up with it's okay to be white, which means which is a white supremacist dog whistle that was made up by white supremacists.
No, I do want the
neo-Nazis
dude to
response
call
like,
in.
BLM. They came up with that because on the surface, like it's okay to be white is an inarguable statement. Like, yeah, of course it's okay to be white. Who thinks it's not okay to be white? Like maybe some really crazy radical SJWs out there, but you know most people agree with that sentiment. So it's a very easy to agree with statement. But if you disagree with it, it's very easy to pretend like the statement means nothing more than what the words mean, and that's what they do.
Why go off on this?
Yeah, it's true. It's kind of like people who like, you know, in opposition to like Black Lives Matter, they'll say like all lives matter. Like it sounds like harmless on the surface. Even back in the day when people first started using that term, I fell into that trap too, because it seems like super harmless on the surface. Like, oh yeah, of course, like that makes sense. Everybody's life matters, you know, not like just a specific group. But when you actually learn that it's like a dog whistle that actually has like a lot of harmful meaning behind it, then you start to see the truth. And there's a lot of these types of dog whistles where, you know, to the average normie who doesn't know any better, it sounds pretty harmless. And it actually might be something that on the surface, you might actually think you agree with the statement that's being made. But when you actually analyze what's actually being said and learn the true meaning behind it, then you see the real harm that it causes.
It's weird tangent. Stay on topic. You sound like a mental patient. What does this have
You
to do
sound
with
like a
Eric July and
mental
male
patient? What
masquerading
the
as a
fuck?
Catgirl VTuber?
Those trans kids don't exist.
I want to hear that again.
What does this have to do with Eric July and the male masquerading as a Catgirl VTuber?
Masquerading as a Catgirl VTuber? The Catgirl VTuber thing is the
Surus,
mess.
I don't know if you're still watching. I know they said they were in their subathon, so they're probably busy doing their own thing right now. But they seem to have a real issue with the fact that you have a Catgirl VTuber. You know, they did mention that it was a big titty Catgirl VTuber. Maybe they are sexually aroused to your avatar, and that personally like bothers them. Like they have some internal like sort of like confliction with that or something like that, where they just can't accept the fact that they looked at your VTuber avatar and found it attractive, and so now they have to like speak out against how horrible your VTuber avatar is.
It's so mad that
Trans
my
kids don't
dick
exist.
is hard.
Most people
Yeah, they
who
do.
are trans find out that they
Oh,
are
I'd love
trans
to debate
between
him on
the
this.
ages of 4 and 6. This is pretty well.
Wait, young Rippa, would you like to debate
Something accusation is confession. True.
me on whether or not trans kids exist? I would love to debate you on that. I would.
Oh my
It's the
God, no,
mommy
boobies
milkers
are
that
bad.
gets them every time. This is true.
Come
The,
here,
the
big
mommy
tits.
milkers gets them every
Your
time.
tits belong to me.
love to debate you on whether or not trans kids exist, because I know
I still can't believe Sam Cedar said that. It's fucking hilarious. Oh my god, it's so funny.
that gender dysphoria exists. There is overwhelming evidence that gender dysphoria exists in children, and there's overwhelming evidence that transitioning is the way to treat gender dysphoria. So if you want to try to argue the premise that trans kids don't exist, let's debate it on stream. I'll do it tomorrow. I don't need any prep time. Do it tomorrow. That's an easy one. I'm down. Let's go.
Fucking Chad Zanderhall.
I agree that there are people who are confused with their gender, but there is no way you can make a good argument for transitioning as an effective way of treating it.
You
Permanent
can.
procedures are not the way. All the data you need to know is that it's not a good idea to go against the natural order of things.
The natural order? What the fuck does the natural order even mean? What the fuck
This is
does
a
that
person
even
who
mean?
clearly hasn't actually looked into this, because gender affirming care has been found by, you know, the course of many
The
studies
natural
and whatnot
order is
to
that
show
my
it
girlland could
actually
shove her
does
fucking tits in your
prevent
face and you'd be
people
twice as
from,
confused.
you know, taking their own lives.
That's what happens to me.
Okay?
I literally
like
get
people who
confused.
suffer from gender dysphoria and whatnot. Like, it actually does help people. And they're like, their response to that was, the only data you know is that it's, what was the exact terminology they used? Hold on.
Argument for transitioning as an effective way of treating it. Permanent procedures are not the way.
They're
All
not
the data
the way.
you need to know is that it's not a good idea to go against the natural order of things.
It's not a good idea to go against the natural order of things.
What is the natural order?
Screw all the organizations that have done research on this topic. Screw all the data that shows that, yes, gender affirming care does actually help trans people. You can't go against the natural order of things, chat. Oh my God.
What is the natural order
That's
of
telling
anything?
me that it's a learned trait. Certainly.
I'm going to look for something while this video plays. Hold on, chat. Well, I mean, I'll keep the video going.
If that is to be the case, of course, I will be very precise about my language here when I talk about trans kids and them not existing. I'm speaking to the transitionary stuff, and this is something that, again, is a learned trait. And when you consider the
transitionary stuff.
The transitionary
so basically,
stuff.
what he's trying to say right now is that there is no merit to like the idea of a kid transitioning. Like, it's just a bad thing that there's no like good sides to, no good arguments for. The problem is conservatives like this desperately rely on the idea of like, I've got things figured out. Let me just, intuit this by pulling it out of my ass, right? Like, if I asked YoungRippa59 right now while he was recording this, do you have any data to back up that idea? Like anything, like even like a medical institution's name that backs up the perspective that like trans kids don't exist?
This is coming from the same people who told everyone to trust the science. Masks are effective. Stop the spread. Brand new untested vax will save lives. Just trust the science.
It did.
Excuse me for not trusting the politicized and compromised medical
We
community
literally
about
have
very
all the data
controversial
we
issues.
need on that. What?
There is none. There is not a single bit of solid scientific or medical.
It's literally just hand waving away. Literally just trying to hand wave away any fucking research that goes against like their beliefs or whatever.
Evidence that actually argues that trans people are in any way
it's literally like it's the like anti-woke version of, dude, just trust me, bro. Just trust me. Don't provide any sources to back up anything or anything. Dude, just trust me, bro.
Nice Zoidberg is the natural.
Back it up with a source. My source is that I made it the
Fuck up, Jack.
valid or that transitioning is bad for them. All data either shows that transitioning and reaffirmation either has an overwhelmingly positive effect on the mental health and well-being of trans people, or no effect. Either has no effect at all and they stay the same, rarely, or it has an overwhelmingly positive effect, which is what's overwhelmingly found in the vast majority of cases.
The confidence this leftist activist has in the woke programming is fascinating. Xander Hall has no doubt in his mind.
Do you know what YoungRippa would argue if I brought this up to him?
What
in a
is
debate
even
right
the
now?
point of the shit he's
He would
saying?
argue that these institutions have been corrupted by the
What
left.
is the point that can Rippa versus
That's
Goldberg
probably what he'd
even
argue.
saying?
Because once you get these people onto the discussion of data and science and facts, like once you actually try to get them onto that stuff, very quickly they start to get scared and they want to get out of there because they don't actually have anything to back up what they say. It's all feelings. It's all like, yeah, the very basic understanding of human biology we all learned in elementary school is...
Okay, so what I was looking for is unavailable right now, so I'll have to try and circle back to it later, but anyway.
pretty much all you need to know, and it doesn't go any deeper further than that. The world is as simple as it was when you learned about it in elementary school.
You know what? Believe what you want, Xander Hall. I genuinely feel sorry for you. Brainwashed victim, sad.
No, I'm not.
Brainwashed victim, sad.
Only doing that because they like to use gender.
This guy doesn't know how to make a response video.
But nonetheless, when you have someone that thinks that they are something else, that they're not, definitely a youngster, when you consider that they're young and they could be going through all
these people's arguments hinge on the idea. They argue the same thing, that like kids can't be gay because how could kids know that this lifestyle is what they want? Because they like fundamentally don't understand that like no amount
how
of
did the kid
arguing
know they're
there's no
gay?
such
They
thing as
read a
gay people or
yaoi
trans
manga.
people will make gay or trans people stop existing. They just do exist, and your opinion, well, reality just doesn't care about your opinion, right? Like, trans people exist, the science says what it says, and you are basically the party that is trying to bend the lives and science, or the lives of other people and science, to your will because you're uncomfortable with what the science says. So, I'm sorry you're uncomfortable with reality, but...
Yeah, he's
like,
projecting hard as shit.
You're just having it pointed out to you, and your response is to get mad and call the person pointing it out a degenerate because they have, like, a funny VTuber avatar with the big titties. Like, you're just triggered. You're a snowflake, is what I'm saying. You're a snowflake, YoungRippa.
Xander Hall uploaded a 5th video about Eric July a few weeks
There
ago.
we
on
go.
October.
Okay, I found what I was looking for. Let me actually pull up the links here, chat, so I can show you guys what.
Okay, so we're past the part where my contribution was necessary. We are past the point, because now it's just talking about the stuff that's going on with Xander Hall in the next one. And this is the YoungRippa talking about the Strikers. We already did a video on that one, so we don't really need to do much more where that's concerned. I gave my critique where that was. But I do want to have this interaction be a video on the channel. Do some video responses during the subathon that involve, you know, playing some video games while we're actually doing stuff, because I figure my ability to be motivated is low right now, and I need a way to push myself forward. And I can't wait to see the way that this madness just keeps on going. What video was that? Well, that was a stream that is Tipster live on his stream, and he was talking about a video that Rippaverse Goalposts made, which was critiquing a video that Xander Hall made, which was critiquing a video that YoungRippa made, which was critiquing a video that I made, which was critiquing a video that YoungRippa made. There, does that explain it? Does that explain what's going on right here? Jesus. Because there's what VTuber is he referring to? Me? This is now a response to a stream, which is a response to a video, which is a response to a video, which is a response to a video in a stream, which is a response to a video in a stream, which is a response to a video. That's where we're at. That is the level of the discourse now. How many layers of reaction are there? There are not enough layers of reaction. We need to make more layers of reaction. It's very important. But which VTuber model? I think I was in the Salem's model at the time. I was in Salem's, not the himbo model, but the Version Killer sweater model. I was in that one at the time, and I guess that made him upsetty. His pants inflated in an uncomfortable way because he didn't realize that the thing he actually needed was 2023's version of the Monarch's girlfriend from the Venture Brothers. Hey there, short stuff. How you doing? Don't worry about my voice now. Everything works as you would expect it to. Just. Oh my god. People mistaking Surus as trans, but not knowing in which way is top tier content. It's amazing. It's amazing. I love the confusion that happens with these people. I wonder if there's gonna be a lazily edited AI voice generated video on the channel in regards to me as well. I mean, I guess there already was one, but it required Xander Hall to be the actual like catalyst to it. That works. So when are you going to explain to Tipster about Crisscross, Su Muslim, Taekwon Hindu, and Ninju? Oh god. Do I have to explain those guys to him? I don't think getting him involved, and that's a good idea. How dare you make my cock confused? Sirs, you should use a voice changer one day to really confuse them. Welcome to the end of the video, guys. Yes, Rhino did have a VTuber debut. Speaking of that, we got fan art, and this one is from Fluffy B1. I don't have the best reference for Rhino-chan, but I wanted to redraw the Leviathan's Rhino and Lilith Surus, and I do hope you enjoy, even if I didn't change Rhino-chan's outfit very much. You didn't have to change it very much. It's close enough already. The next one we have here is from Jet. I finally had the spoons to finish something. Sorry, I don't know what a neck coin is worth, but I did my best. 5 neck coins a stream. 5 neck coins. How can you watch hours of content for free and not give 5 neck coins? God, that video will never get old. The next one we have here is from Sandwolf. I drew Surus as Angelomon. Don't ask why the boobies are Neckos, because I don't really know. Why are the boobies Neckos? Let's be honest. That's just how it is. That's just how it is. As always, everybody, thank you all for your fan art submissions. If you want your fan art to be shown in a future video, drop it into the Discord. With that said, let's go ahead and move into the credits.
Hey, I just quickly want to give a thank you to all of my wonderful patrons who keep this show running. YouTube and Twitch are a pretty bumpy ride at the best of times, and the stability a Patreon provides me is worth more than I can say here. I'd also like to thank each and every one of my $20 and up patrons here, and they would be Britzkrieg, Cameron, Dren, Jemshin, Smiling DM, Poundini, Mabbity Babbity, Naomi, Isaac, Agamotto, Jordan, Ravi, Giuni, Kiratorian, Prisma, all of you, I'm not saying that part, and Starlight. And finally, thank you to everyone else that helps keep this channel alive. While you're here, why not check out another video? And thank you for watching.